I have a Valentine's Day tutorial for you if you need to get gussied up for Valentine's Day. If you don't, then this is a good look for any time. I was going to run through a few of the products that you're going to need for this and a few dupes of something high-end that I use. First of all, for the eyes, you're going to need a deep matte brown. I'm using ColourPop, all ColourPop for this tutorial. You're going to need a deep, warm matte brown. You're going to need a medium tone warm brown. You are going to need a copper, a metallic copper shade. And you're going to need a sort of just, you know, satin brow bone shade. I said in the tutorial you could even use your, you know, face powder if you don't want it to be shimmery, but, you know, just a brow bone highlighty shade, I guess. And then in this tutorial, I'm going to be using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette that I received for Christmas. I'm using Radiant Light and Dim Light. So a couple dupes that I just kind of pulled out. They're not exact. They're not completely exact. But for Radiant Light, I kind of found that the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana is very similar to it. So if you have that, then go ahead and use that. And then I'm using Dim Light as sort of like a peachy blush in this tutorial, not as a highlighter. And a very close dupe, not exact, but a very close dupe is Peachy Keen from e.l.f., the studio blush from e.l.f. This one is maybe just a touch peachier. Just a touch. Like it has just a little bit more color to it. But, you know, the ambient the Becca, or no, I'm sorry, not Becca, the Hourglass product wasn't meant to be a blush, but it kind of works as a blush on me for some reason. But if you have Peachy Keen, that is a very good substitute for how I'm using this particular highlighter. So I think that that's it. My Valentine's Day is actually going to be celebrated on Jason's Day, which is Friday the 13th. Saturday is for lovers, but Fridays are for Jason. And we're actually going to be watching Friday the 13th and eating pizza, so that's a good night. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a great Valentine's Day, and now let's get on to the makeup. Okay, so I primed my eyes with the Wet n Wild primer, like I always do, and now I'm going to use ColourPop. I'm going to first go into the deepest shade, and that is Mittens. I'm going to open that up, shouldn't I? That is a very deep chocolatey brown. And I'm going to go with a sponge tip applicator. These are the sponge tips that I'm using. This is by Savvy, if you can see that. This is a brand at Walgreens, and it's like $2 and under. It has all these kind of little beauty things, like not really makeup, but like little tools and stuff. And these were 99 cents. So if you have ColourPop shadows and you don't want to get your fingers, you know, dirty all the time applying these shadows, go ahead and get some sponge tips. And I'm going to go ahead and take my sponge tip into Mittens, and we're going to apply this on the lid. And as you can see, you get a lot of color payoff by using a sponge tip or your fingers. Also, the maximum color payoff for ColourPop is with sponge tips. And I'm very excited because they have blushes coming out. I believe they're $8. They come out tomorrow. Today's the 11th as I'm shooting this. They'll come out on the 12th of February. So I have that placed on the lid. Now I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This is the Deluxe Crease Brush from Real Techniques, which I just saw these are popping up at Walgreens now. The Real Techniques line is popping up at Walgreens. I first saw them at, like as far as like a discount store. They were at Walmart, and now they're at Walgreens. So that's kind of cool. So I'm just kind of buffing out that edge, just you know, lightly buffing it out like that. Then we're going to move on to the brow bone. I'm going to take Truth, which is just, you know, your basic. It has like it's a satin, a satin sort of quality to it, but it's kind of your basic brow highlight. You can use your, you know, face powder if you want to. If you don't want it to be shimmery, you can just use a face powder. And it's really, to me, when I do something on my brow bone, it's to kind of like hide like the veins that are, you know, just naturally on your, around your eyes, that are visible on the eyes because that skin is so thin. I just kind of put something there to hide, you know, that, what do you call it? It's a thing. Like, there's a word for it. Not demarcation, but, you know, discoloration maybe. Those sorts of things. You know, the flaws. The bad stuff. That nobody should ever see, especially on Valentine's Day. So I'm just kind of buffing that all over my brow bone area. All the way down to the crease. Just because. Then I'm going to take a lighter chocolatey brown. Ooh. Oops. Almost dropped something. I'm going to take a lighter chocolatey brown. This is Bandit. And it's a very reddy, matte brown. Mid-tone reddish brown. I'm going to take that again on the Deluxe Crease Brush, kind of swipe it in there just lightly. I just went around like that. And we're going to lightly buff this into the crease area and upward so that it just kind of fades out. But just to kind of blend out that, you know, deeper shade, the Mittens shade. And to kind of just make it even warmer. Go up, up, up until there's nothing on the brush, basically. Now for the flashy stuff on the eye, I'm going to take the only shimmer, well, the only like metallic that we're using in this look. This is Game Face by ColourPop. It is just a delicious, like, molten copper shade. And if, you know, if you're into coppers and metallics and things like this, is one that you really need to get because it's gorgeous. But I'm going to take the other side of the sponge tip that I just used and get some on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to pat that right in the center of the lid. And we're just kind of going back and forth, you know, like just concentrating that in the center. But we are kind of patting. We're not swiping. And just build up the intensity to what you want it to be. So I kind of want this to be really metallic. So now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and line my waterline with the Jordana 12-Hour Made to Last pencil in black point. And I will be right back to do the rest of the things that I'm going to do with this eyeliner. Okay, so now that you have your waterline lined, what I'm going to do is, first of all, once you get that in your waterline, take a little smudgy brush on the lower lash line and smudge it out. Inevitably, you're always going to get a little bit of liner in your lashes, which is great because then you can smudge it out and make it look really sexy and slept in. Which is kind of the key to this look. Like, I really liked how it looked yesterday when I wore it. It was just kind of that sexy, smudgy look without actually looking like, you know, there's this thing about, like, slept-in makeup is sexy. It is sometimes. Like, sometimes it works. Like, sometimes you sleep in your makeup and you wake up and like, dang, I look good. But other times, it's like, oh, man, like, I have, like, eyeshadow on, like, one eye. And, you know, my pores are clogged and I just look like hell, you know, warmed over. This is kind of the pretty version of that, except with kind of more bold, but it is still smudgy. The actual eyeshadow is still smudgy. Anyways, once you get that smudged out on the bottom, we're going to take the eyeliner pencil, and I do recommend this. If you don't have Jordana around, surely you have L'Oreal somewhere around you. Get the, I can't pronounce the name of the line, but the Silkissime brand. This is the brand from, or the line from Please focus. Come on, bud. This is a brand from L'Oreal. I only have the blue one, but it's one of the greatest pencils. Like, it's so smooth and just glides on and then it stays put. So if you don't have Jordana, get the black one from L'Oreal in the So Kiss Me. Forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. Get that one from L'Oreal. Anyways, we're going to take this and just kind of messily, just kind of in dots actually, like little Morse codey lines. Make sure you get that inner corner. But we're not doing a perfect line because that's getting smudged out, but just get enough product on your lash line that you can smudge it out. I'm going to take the same little brush from EcoTools and just smudge that out right into the lashes so there's no gap. Get in there. You might have to hold your eye taut because I can't. I just can't. I need to have it taut like that. Forgive me. So it's smudging, 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 smudging. And then with whatever's on the brush, just kind of drag that out to like a pseudo wing almost, if you want to. So I just kind of drag it out to the side, but it is completely smudged and there's no definite line there except in the water line. So that's the eye look. I'm going to put on some mascara. Of course, I'm going to be using the Jordana Best Lash Extreme volumizing mascara, and I'll be right back to finish up the rest of this sexy ass Valentine's Day makeup. Okay, so I've already applied foundation. The one that I used was the Revlon Nearly Naked foundation because my skin is just a lot bit dry on the nose. Like, I don't know if it's because I've been drippy lately, but it's pretty dry on the nose area. So something that has just a little bit more moisture and little less matte. It's kind of like a satin almost. So that's the foundation that I used, and for concealer I'm going to be using my tried and true Maybelline Dream Lumi Touch concealer. I just really like this. You can use whatever concealer you want, but we're gonna go for the eyes, around the nose, down the nose, on the chin because I have a acne scar there that just won't fade, and then a little bit on the forehead. I'm going to go ahead and blend that in using the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. And now I'm going to powder all of that into place using the Revlon Nearly Naked powder. Everything except under the eyes because I have something that I'm going to use under the eyes to set that stuff. Okay, next for contour, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer and the and with that I'm going to be using the Real Techniques sculpting brush because I just really like this brush a lot. You can just kind of push it into the hollows of the cheeks and then kind of turn it on its side like that and blend everything out. Okay, for highlighter and blush I'm going to be using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette. I'm going to be using 2 of the shades in this palette. For highlighting I'm going to be using the Radiant Lighting powder. This is the one on the very end, like if you hold it like that, it's this one right here. And that's for the highlighting. It's a very subtle highlight, not too much, but we're going to go kind of, the great thing about these is that they're not glitter balls, so you can kind of go anywhere you want on the nose. And you can be a little heavy-handed without getting yourself in trouble. I'm using a Real Techniques contour brush to apply that. And then I'm going to take a smaller brush like this, take the same color, and just kind of gently go under the eyes. Set the concealer. For blush, I'm going to be using another color from this palette because it's not a great highlighter for me, but it's a kind of great blush for me. I'm going to be using the Dim Light shade, which is right here. It kind of has a peach tone to it, and on my skin, at least in the winter, we'll see in the summer, but at least in the winter, it kind of works as a very subtle blush. So on a Real Techniques blush brush, I'm going to take that and just pat that onto the cheeks. For lips today, I'm going to be using a Maybelline matte lipstick. Is that all it's called, really? They're just matte. Is it Color Reach? It's not Color Reach. Is it Color? I have no idea. Color Sensational. There it is. Okay. For lipstick, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Color Sensational matte lipstick in Daringly Nude. Boom. So there's the look, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you have a happy Valentine's Day, no matter if you're with somebody that is a significant other, or with friends, just doing whatever, or alone with Netflix. I hope that you have a lot of fun, and I will see you next time. Bye!